Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. So for today's video, I'm here to do my book review on Light by Michael Grant. This is the last book in the Gone series. First of all, if you don't know what the Gone series is all about, it's a young adult science fiction series. The setting takes place in California, and in a blink of an eye, everyone 15 and over disappear. Along with this craziness, a dome has been put up about 20 miles wide within this area, and so those who are left behind are 14 and younger, and you can only imagine the panic and hysteria that occurs inside, and it's brutal. Along with this craziness, this conflict between these children, there is this bigger, badder entity called the Darkness. So what's going on in Light, it is the end game. The Darkness is on a rampage. She is on a mission to destroy every last one of them. She is ready to get out of this enclosed space and take over the world, obviously. So that is a very big synopsis of what Light is all about. It is non-stop action, adventure, drama. Next, let me talk to you guys about the characters. Throughout the series, there have been a lot of characters being introduced in each of the books. In Light, there is the main focus on the remaining characters, the more powerful characters within the series, and I thought they have developed to the max by this point in the series. All of them have developed in finding their place and what they're good at and what they can do. For the characters who were more of an antagonist within the story, it's their opportunity to redeem themselves, and they really step up to the plate. So what I really enjoyed about the main characters was that they were putting their personal differences aside to defeat this bigger entity, the bigger problem, and that is, of course, the Darkness, Gaia. Next, guys, I want to talk about the plot of Light. It is full of action, so much destruction and devastation throughout the book. I really shouldn't be surprised, but there was a lot of violence in this last book. A lot of kids die, and I was quite surprised in the manner of their deaths. And as far as how the book concludes the series, there wasn't any shocking surprises or twists within the book. There was kind of this predictability factor to it, which I did not mind at all. As far as the writing is concerned, it's quite simplistic, and that's both good and bad. It's good because the read is quick and it's very easy. I thought it was very easy for me to visualize what was going on throughout the series, but bad because there were aspects of the writing where it fell flat, especially with the dialogue. There were times where the dialogue felt contrived and didn't feel realistic. With that being said, guys, I'm going to give Light by Michael Grant 3.5 out of 5 stars. I wasn't annoyed by Light. I wasn't angry at Light. How it all concluded, though, I didn't love so much. I was hoping to love the ending, but it wasn't bad for a last book in series. I think it was full of action, lots of drama, over the top craziness going on. So that's my non-spoiler book review on Light. This would be the time where I have to bid you adieu if you haven't finished reading this book yet, because I'm about to talk about the spoilers. There's gonna be spoilers, spoiler alert, spoilers, spoilers. First of all, let's talk about the deaths. I was bracing myself for the worst. I was actually expecting more main characters to die. Of course, we have Brianna the Breeze, who I was particularly sad about. She was one of my favorite characters within the series because of her sassiness and her initiative to kick some butt. So I was quite sad, but I wasn't surprised about her death. Of course, we have Orc, who redeems himself, I think, in the last book. Orc, who has been seen as the bully throughout the series. I think Orc, to the core, wasn't a bad person. He just had assholes surrounding him, and so I think throughout the series there was quite a development with his character, which I really liked. And of course, we have Cain, who sacrifices himself, offers himself to Petey so he can defeat the Darkness, Gaia. And like Orc, I don't think Cain was evil to the core. That goes to Drake. Cain just has an ego. He went on his power trip, and throughout the series he really developed as a character. So I think in the end he redeems himself. It was quite sad that he had to go, but I wasn't surprised about his sacrifice at all. Next, I want to talk about Gaia's accelerated aging. First thing I thought about was Twilight, of course, Renesmee's aging, and she ages quite a bit in this book. I'm talking about Gaia now. The image of a 10-year-old girl ripping some man's arm off and eating it, that is intense. But yes, Gaia and her rampage to destroy everything. The first thing I thought about was some men just want to watch the world burn. And like he said, the violence within this book, the cannibalism, everyone being dismembered, you know, body parts being split in half, heads and body parts being crushed. It was insane. It was like, ew. I'm glad Michael Grant didn't go into the details of those deaths. It would have been just too much, just too much. But yes, let's talk about the fight between Gaia and Petey. It was like a page long, like a few paragraphs long, and although these characters do go out in a blaze of glory, too short. Way too short. I thought a lot of suspense could have been built up between these two characters. I was hoping for a Goku versus Vegeta style battle, although that would have taken forever. Or, you know, Queen Beryl versus Sailor Moon type battle. Have the Fallen kind of help Petey in his battle against the darkness. That would have been awesome. But you know, no. Although I do understand why the battle between those two characters was so short. Petey is the most powerful person within the phase, so I understand just going straight to the chase and, you know, destroying the darkness. But still, I would have loved the anticipation and the suspense and action built between these two characters for sure. And lastly, the emancipation with Sam's character, Astrid doing this book deal slash movie deal with the celebrities. I thought when the barrier of the phase came down, I thought he would be elated reuniting with his mom again, and instead he was more resentful towards her because she kept this secret from him. His mom letting him get emancipated, I thought that was kind of strange, and Astrid and Sam leaving their families to live together. What? Huh? At least for me, I thought there would be an attempt to normalcy, although nothing can ever truly go back to the way the things were before this event took place. I thought there would be an attempt or this strong urge to be normal again. You know, I just tried to respect and remember those who had fallen, but rather they would talk about their experiences within the phase. And personally for me, I would try not to even think about it anymore and try to just move on from what had happened, because it was just some freak accident thing that happened in the phase. So yes, I thought the direction of how the aftermath concluded was a bit strange and I wasn't really expecting, so that was kind of weird. It's definitely not the worst concluding book I've read in a series, but that's not a great description of how I would have loved to describe Light. As far as my favorite characters, Adelio is definitely one of my favorite characters. It proves you don't have to have powers to make an impact in the overall scheme of things. And of course, Brianna the Breeze for her ability to kick butt and her sassiness, of course. And I actually like Lana within the series as well. I thought she was badass and she had a really big responsibility on her shoulders as well. And I thought she handled it as best as she could. As far as the superpower I would have loved to have in the phase, that would definitely have to be Taylor's ability to teleport, be able to bounce from one location to the other. It would have been a very powerful skill to have, both offensively and defensively. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Light. Oh my gosh, is this a long video? I hope not. Let me know in the comments below if you finished Light. What power would you love to have within the phase? Anyways, that is everything, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a very good one. Bye.